Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to start out talking about the Michigan Child Protection Registry. This registry has actually been around since 2005, but I still feel like not enough families know about it. What this does is you as a parent or a guardian, you would go into this registry at that website and you would register you and your child's email, email, cell phone number, because this blocks certain text messages from coming in. And then there's a bunch of apps that we have now included: Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Discord, Twitch. You would put in their handle names. And what that'll do is you will stop, and your kids will stop receiving anything a minor shouldn't be receiving in the first place. So any advertisements from pornography, alcohol, vaping is huge with their marketing ploys. It'll stop any marijuana advertisements, especially here in Michigan, because it is illegal, or it is legal here in the state of Michigan, and online gambling, which I have to say has become, not a lot of parents realize this, but online gambling, since it's become legal here in the state of Michigan, there are a lot of teenagers that have become addicted to these sites. And so this will stop all of those ads from coming in to these inboxes, including your spam. So, that's where kids know all the bad stuff comes in, is in your spam. This stuff none of these ads will even come into your spam email accounts. So this is a registry that is under our Secretary of State's office. And once you sign up, you are going to be on the registry for 3 years. And then what will happen is, you as a parent, you'll receive an email saying, you've been on this for 3 years now. Would you like to continue? Or would you like to get off the registry? Because by then your kids could be in college or even older. And this is a law. Anyone that advertises these kind of items here in the state of Michigan, including like wineries, the wineries up north, all pornography companies, all tobacco companies, if they market here in the state of Michigan, by law, they have to scrub their lists with ours. And that's how this works. So and I'm sorry, some of these are kind of graphic, but these are text messages and emails. And this one down here is an Instagram DM that one of my interns had received at one point. But this is a good example of all of the things that will stop coming in, the text messages and the emails that will stop coming in. And these are ones, like I've said, that I've received, friends have received, my interns have received, and we just keep them as samples. So what I would like to do, which I would like for all of you to do, if you can, is first, obviously, go to the registry and register you and your kids. But also, if you could please share this registry on social media. I can give you like a media packet. I can send it to Sarah, and she can. So I have examples of posts you can do on your Facebook, whether it's your your personal Facebook or your organization's Facebook. But I have some really good social media things that you can post. But also, if your school or if your organization has a newsletter of any kind, I can give you the exact wording for it. But I would really appreciate if you guys could help me get information out about the registry, and maybe something like that, if that's something that you have. Again, it's been around since 2005, and I still feel like we're having trouble getting this information out there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of talk about I kind of call it like a toolbox of ways that you as a family can keep your kids safe the best that you can in your own home. Because let me tell you, even though this is my job, I'm still learning what kids are doing through my own children and their friends. You can download all the parental controls that are out there. You can buy all the, protection apps. And there are still going to be times where, unfortunately, your kids are going to see things you don't want them to see or be saying things that you don't want them to be saying. But this is just kind of a toolbox to kind of give you how to try your best. One thing that's really kind of hard to explain is there are so many levels out there where you can protect your kids. There's 3 different levels. You can protect them at the network level, which the network level is your internet. And then there's the device level, so your phone or your kid's iPad. And then there's the app level. And each level has certain controls that you can put on to keep your kids safe. So the most confusing, I think, for parents, and even still me, because I mean, even though this is my job, I am not an internet guru whatsoever. But you can, starting at the network level, put parental controls on your internet. And I'm talking about that black box. It's usually black or white that you have probably hidden under a bed or under a desk somewhere that controls your internet. So for me, we have AT&T. And so AT&T has what's called a smart home manager. And the only thing my network parental controls do is monitor screen time. That's it. Mine doesn't do a lot to keep my kids safe. But other internet companies will have different parental controls that you can look up. And all you have to do is just Google, AT&T internet parental controls, and it will tell you exactly what parental controls are available to you and how to use them. The reason I talk about the network level is because this is probably one of the most important, because this means whenever your kids' friends come into your home, or a babysitter or cousins, they are also going to be under your internet, and they will have to abide by those parental controls. So they won't be able to get onto sites that you don't want your kids getting on, because they will be under your internet. And you can buy extra stuff to add to your internet box through Bark, Home, or Circle. These things are not that expensive, but they will monitor, texts and music, and they'll block certain websites for your kids to go to. They'll also send you, Bark will do this, will send you updates if your kids are trying to get onto a certain website or are using words in email and text that aren't appropriate. So the network level is really important, and we forget about it. The next level is the device level. And I used to keep actually a binder for parents, and it would explain all the parental controls for each device. And it just got ridiculous because there's so many devices out there now. There's the Android and the iPhone, but then, every year they're coming out with a new version. And so there's different ways to put the parental controls. It was way too much. So what I tell parents is, I have an Android phone. So the first thing I did was when I gave my son his phone at 12, I made sure it was the exact same phone I had, because I knew how to use it, and I was comfortable with it. And I really recommend that for parents, is to get your kids the same phone that you have. And I do recommend an Android over an iPhone, and I'll explain that in a little bit. But so for my Android, what we have is the Android has what's called the Google Family Link, and it's awesome. I love it. It has GPS on it, but my son cannot download an app without my permission. So if there's an app that he wants to download, I get a text message immediately saying, is it okay for Liam to download this? And I can go in and see what this app's all about and all of that, and I can say yes or no. It also, I can go in and look at how much time he's spending on each app and what times he's on these apps. Also, I think I did say it also has GPS. So I love it. It's been great for us. The iPhone, has some things that are similar. One thing though I tell parents is, don't forget about the Xbox or PlayStation, especially at Christmas time. I feel like parents just hand that device over and it's like, here you go. I don't know how to use this. You set it up and just have fun. And the thing is, there are a ton of parental controls that you can put on these devices. Kids, pretty much every game I feel like that's out there now, you can talk to strangers from all over the world that you're playing with. And so these you really need to take seriously and make sure that you follow those parental controls when you set it up. And then lastly, the level is, a lot of apps have parental controls now. They didn't used to. Snapchat didn't used to have parental controls. Instagram didn't. Now they do. They're not fantastic, but it's definitely worth making sure that those parental controls are working on that app. Again, just use Google. If your child is using Snapchat, just Google Snapchat parental controls. But what I also highly recommend, especially when your kids are older and if they're driving, I would recommend downloading the app Bark or Life 360. Life 360 is great if your kids are driving because it'll also alert you if your kids are texting while driving. It will also let you know how the speed your child is going. So I love Life 360. I think it's great for that. The Bark app is also fantastic if you have an Android phone. The iPhone does not allow Bark to monitor Snapchat, Instagram, or TikTok, which is sad because I think those are the three most important apps kids are using that you do need to monitor. And when I say monitor, I mean, if your kids are using words like suicide or drugs, marijuana, alcohol, there's all these algorithms that Bark uses. And if your child is texting or even listening to music with certain words in it, you will automatically get a text message or an email letting you know that your kid is using or listening to these words. I can't tell you how many lives Bark has saved for kids that were talking about suicide to their friends, or their friends were talking to them about suicide, and their parents had no idea except for this app. So it's really worth looking into. I also tell parents, and I know this is a pain in the butt, but you've got to be in the know in order to help your kids, guide them through this whole social media craziness. If your kid is on Snapchat, I recommend you be on Snapchat. If your kid is on Instagram, I recommend you be on Instagram because that is, it's almost like the sex talk. You have to have these conversations with your kids, and you want them to feel comfortable coming to you about things that's happening on social media. And the only way to do that is if they know you're cool when it comes to social media. You know how to work Snapchat. You use it. So it's something you can talk about. Um, One thing I tell a lot of things, one of the other things I tell parents, and we have this, is we have a family contract and everybody signs it. And our family contract, it is on our fridge. And I've had to sign it. And it's everything from no phones at the dinner table to no phones during homework time, no phones after 8 o'clock. I mean, I have a list of stuff. And then I also have on there, if any of these rules are broken, your phone is taken away for this long, or, whatever kind of consequences in your family works. But it's really good having it on paper and in front of the whole family. And if you want an example of family contracts, there's tons of them on the internet. Just Google social media family contracts and you will see tons of them. And then lastly, two things, no matter if it's the device or an app, make sure your kid's birthday is correct on that app and their location is turned off. Those two things are huge. And the reason why the birth date is huge, and I'm going to talk about some apps that do this, they allow you to do more things, mature things, depending on your birthday. So if you need to make sure that if your child is using a certain app that they do have their correct birthday on there. And there are ways, yes, for your kid to go in and change their birthday. So it's something you might want to look at every once in a while to make sure they haven't messed with that. So so that's kind of like a toolbox that I like to give to parents for your own household. I would say about a year and a half ago, I started talking a lot about sexting and sextortion because every time I would go into a school. This is all teachers and administrators were talking about. It's kind of sad that what is going on kids' phones is disrupting so much of their school life. So teachers are having to deal with sexting issues, which, you would never think that that would even be a responsibility of theirs, but unfortunately it has. Kids, unfortunately, think that sending naked pictures to their significant other or friends is not a big deal. They do this before they're dating. They do this for fun. They do this to hurt people. It has become huge. I work really closely with the Kent County prosecutor here, Chris Becker, and he just has piles and piles of court cases regarding sexting with minors. It's just not getting through to these minors that not only is it, illegal, but those pictures are out there forever. And one thing kids don't understand is once you send that picture to somebody, it's not yours anymore. It is no longer, you are no longer in ownership of that picture, and that picture can go, or video could go anywhere. And so to me, the way I explain sexting is there's three different kind of sexting that I think kids are really getting involved in. The first one is relationships, sexting. If you're in a relationship with someone and you're sending naked pictures back and forth. The second is friendship sexting. And this is, and I learned about this honestly from an intern of mine, because she was telling me that her and her friends text naked pictures of each other to each other, like in the mornings before school. And hey, how do I look this morning? And it's just crazy. But these girls are sending each other naked pictures. And in Rochester a couple of years ago, this became a major problem. It was between, I think, 6 or 7 girls. They had been sending naked pictures of themselves to each other. Well, they got into a fight and someone forwarded those pictures on. And then the next thing you know, there was over 80 kids in the high school that had the pictures. Many had to go through the court system. Some had to just go through online rehab programs in regards to pornography and sexting. But this is a real thing. This was a big story in Rochester in Michigan. And then the last grouping of sexting is what is predator sexting or sextortion. This has become huge. Unfortunately, after a relationship has, gone bad, these pictures are being sent to family members, friends. I have a friend of a friend who broke up with her boyfriend, and he sent the pictures she had originally sent to them to her boss at work, to get back at her for breaking up with him. And so this has become really big. But the thing is, we're always talking about girls. And when it comes to boys, the percent of boys that are becoming sextorted has doubled. And what is happening, we've had 3 boys here in the state of Michigan in the last year and a half commit suicide because of it. And it's mainly on Snapchat. And what's happening is their Snapchat is definitely not private. And so they receive a message from a young girl, usually telling him, hey, I saw your picture on so-and-so's Facebook, on a friend of yours Facebook page. You're really hot. We should really get to know each other more. And then she'll send a naked picture of herself. And then she'll say, hey, now it's your turn. And within seconds, it is amazing how many boys, this girl has really made them feel good about themselves. They take a naked picture of themselves, send it to this girl, and then immediately the girl sends back, if you don't send me $300 in the next 2 hours, I'm going to send this picture to your friends. I'm going to put it up on your Instagram. I'm going to send it to whoever. And the boys that committed suicide literally did this within less than an hour of this message being sent to him. Some were a couple hours because they were scared to death to tell their families. They completely believed in the sextortion. And They did not know how to respond to this whatsoever. They felt so guilty and awful and embarrassed. And what's ended up happening is the FBI has really gotten involved in these cases. And these, come to find out, these are not girls that are sending naked pictures at all. These are men sending picture from different countries. There'll be like 20, 25 men held up in a house. And this is what they do all day long to young boys, is try and get money from them. So what I tell parents, I've talked to my son Liam, even though he is 12, I have talked to him about this, and what to do if this happens, or if one of his friends were to come to him and say, I really screwed up, I don't know what to do. What they need to do is, first, they need to immediately stop all communication and block that person immediately, and then call authorities. They will not get in trouble, but the authorities have got to know in order to catch these people. Again, I don't like, especially if I'm talking to kids, I only talk about really the law when I'm talking to adults, because I don't think that really stops kids from doing this. Um, but kids don't realize that literally, if you take that naked picture of yourself, just taking the naked picture, you could go to jail for up till 20 years. If you send it, it's 7. If someone sends you a naked picture and you're just holding onto it onto your phone, you can go to jail up to 4 years. This is a serious matter. And I mean, I'd like to hear from even maybe some of you at the end of this presentation on your thoughts on the best way to talk to kids about this and how to get them to stop. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through a lot of these apps that I'm going to talk about. You already know. They've been around for a while, but kids are still using them. And I really like to talk about how kids are using them and what predators are looking for, because our kids put all of their information and feelings out there. And that's the major problem. So of course we all know what Facebook is. And I hear constantly from teenagers, well, Facebook isn't cool anymore. Only old people use Facebook. But the thing is, it is still in the top 10 downloaded apps worldwide every single day. So it is still being downloaded and it is still being used. And when I was doing a lot of human trafficking work, most of the court cases that came to be, at the federal level, at least, traffickers were using Facebook to find their victims. Facebook was still the #1 app that they were using. And this is how predators use apps like Facebook, and Instagram and Snapchat. So the best way for me to explain this is, a couple years ago, I was at an anti-pornography conference, and a pornography recruiter from LA, he had not been in the business for a lot of years, but he came and spoke to us and explained to us what he looks for a victim. But this is back when he used to hang out in malls or bowling alleys or arcades. He said what he would do is, if he would go to the mall, he would look for girls in threes. And at first I was very confused on that. But girls are not nice to each other, especially if there's an odd number. There's always that one girl feeling out of place, or that the other girls aren't paying attention to them. And he said it was always written all over that girl's face. And that is the girl he would approach at the mall. And he said it would work pretty much every single time. The same thing is happening online. Instead of guys like him going to malls and arcades and only being able to groom maybe 5 or 6 girls at a time, these recruiters/traffickers, predators, are sitting on their couch and grooming dozens of girls and boys at a time. And they're looking for the same thing. They're looking for vulnerabilities. They're looking for girls and boys that are not happy with their life, that are having problems with their parents, that are feeling left out in school, that are being bullied. And the reason they know that this is happening is because our kids put that out there. A lot of predators look just for hashtags. Hashtag, I hate my parents. Hashtag, I hate being fat. So they look for victims who, first of all, their accounts aren't private. And when they're reading, they look for kids that are down and out. And that's how they go in and start grooming them and make them feel good about themselves. And that's how it starts. So again, yes, Facebook is still a thing. And again, if you are using, Facebook, again, I always say make sure that you have your location turned off. So I talk about Twitter a little bit. I know that Twitter is not like huge with teenagers. But one thing I want parents to know about Twitter is it has like absolutely zero moderating. There's pornography all over Twitter. He especially since Elon Musk took Twitter back over, he's a huge First Amendment right person. And so, he believes that whatever is posted should be posted, that there shouldn't be there shouldn't be any moderators taking anything down no matter what. So if kids knew that, and I know some do, but if they want to see porn, all they have to do is go to Twitter, use certain hashtags, or search certain things. Instagram. I love Instagram. I think that, like we've all said, it's kind of the same as Facebook. Everybody knows. Predators, again, because on Instagram, hashtags are huge. So they're looking for all kinds of hashtags that, that sounds like a kid is down and out. But another thing, and I talk to my girlfriends about this too, that have young kids. A lot of my friends, when they have babies, they'll take pictures of their babies, taking their first bath, and they'll hashtag baby's first bath or baby in bath. And as awful as this sounds, predators are looking for that kind of stuff. That is what they're looking for. Younger, the better. And so I really try and get my girlfriends, to not post anything like that about their little kids. One thing also about Instagram, most people I talk to know about this, but a lot of kids have a second Instagram account that their parents do not know about, and that a lot of their friends don't know about, and it's called a Finsta account. And what a Finsta account is, and it's mainly girls, a Finsta account is a second Instagram account that you only have your closest friends following you and that you're following. So maybe 12, 13 kids, girls are following this Instagram page. And that's where a lot of their, secret talks and pictures and everything are sent back and forth. But it's a lot of parents don't realize that their kids have a second one. When I've gone into schools and there aren't any adults in the room and I ask who has two Instagram accounts, I would say 50% raise their hand every time. If your kids are using Instagram or Facebook, I recommend Googling Meta Family Center. This is finally, Mark Zuckerberg has finally come out with some parental controls in regards to Facebook and Instagram. They're not great, but they do help. You can, if you just Google that, it'll show you how to set these parental controls up. It will show you everybody that's on their contact list, everyone that they're following. Parents can see certain settings that their kids have their app set to, how much time your kids are on the app, and who can and can't direct message them. So they're slowly starting to add some parental controls. Again, they're not perfect, but it's something, and not a lot of parents know that they're even out there. Again, Snapchat, extremely popular. What a lot of parents don't know about Snapchat, though, is that there is a section in Snapchat, and it's called For Your Eyes Only. And the only way to get into that section in Snapchat is a password. Your child will have that password protected, and they can keep pictures in there or screenshots of snaps, messages that they want saved. If your child is using Snapchat, I definitely recommend turning the Snap map off. I cannot tell you how many issues this Snap map has caused with young girls. Actually, one of my very close friends has a daughter that is a freshman this year. And a lot of times what happens with these girls, because they can be so mean, they'll say, that none of them are doing anything that night. And then she'll get on her Snapchat and she'll see that all of her friends are at one person's house. With Snap Map, you can literally find someone down to the car they're in. I mean, it's very, very specific. So Snap Map, I think, is just awful. It's also very dangerous. Snapchat does have some parental controls now. It's called the New Family Center. And you can't see that your child's content. You can't see what they're sending or what they're receiving. But what you can see is who their friends are and when they do send a Snap message. TikTok, I got to tell you, all these apps, when they first kind of started being popular, I made sure that I played around with them and knew how they worked, and obviously. And, TikTok, a lot of people are really up in arms over TikTok because it is very addictive. But I got to tell you, it's not as bad as the other apps that I just talked about. I do think it's very addictive. I think when it comes to kids' brains, they don't even realize that they've been on it for 2 hours, because I've done that myself. I go down a rabbit hole of cooking videos somehow because of their algorithms. TikTok uses how long you look at a video, and if you look at it longer than others, then that means that you like that kind of stuff, and they'll keep feeding that to you. It's so addictive. But there's not, like, when it comes to pornography, there is not any pornography really. I think you need to really look out for language. But when it comes to like sensitive material, it's not that bad. What's bad about it is, I think, just the addiction, and obviously all the information that's being collected. TikTok does have parental controls now that are called parent pairing, and it can control the privacy of your kid's account, what they can and can't search, and what they can and can't see. Tumblr has become very popular, at least even where I live in Byron Center, which is just south of Grand Rapids. I know a lot of kids my son's age and older that uses Tumblr. What this is it's pretty much like Twitter, but on steroids. You don't even need an account to be on Tumblr. You can write whatever you want. I mean, if you think Twitter's bad, Tumblr is terrible. You can't even, if you do have an account, you can't even make it private, and anyone can message you. I know a couple teens that have messed around with this app. It was called, I think, Yellow or something at first. They changed the name because it had such a bad reputation. They changed the name, but it still does the same thing. This is literally Tinder for teens. You swipe right, or swipe left. And the problem with this, other than the fact that it's, a teenage dating app, is it makes you tell your birthday, because it only wants kids 13 to 17 using this app. Well, we know how that works. Predators, we know, are lying about their age and making them their age younger. And young kids are lying about their age, like, let's say 12-year-olds, they're saying they're 15 being able to use this app. This is a terrible app. And it's a predator's Disneyland for sure. So there is a ton of these apps. This is just one example. These are called chat roulette apps, and kids think that these are a lot of fun. Nudity is a huge problem with this. Pretty much you just get on this app, or there's probably 24 apps that I know of that do this. You get on this app and you randomly are hooked up immediately in a video chat with a complete stranger from anywhere around the world. Kids think that this is hilarious, but obviously, I mean, you can just see what kind of predators would be involved in use an app like this. If your kids are gamers, the next two apps are definitely for you. These have become huge with gamers. So mostly with boys. So what Twitch does is it's pretty much it's gamers watching other gamers play games. Um, it's mainly so that kids can learn how to play Xbox games better, and stuff like that. So that's what they use this for. The problem is it's live streaming, so it's very unpredictable. There's an If your child is younger, like I'm saying 16, 17 years old, using this app, as long as you talk to them about it, I think is okay. There is some language problems, I said in there, and you can chat and direct message with people. So if your child is using this, it's just there's a lot of things you need to talk about with them. Now, if your child, a lot of kids don't use Twitch and they go straight for Discord. And for me, this is more for adults. This is for serious, serious gamers. This app, though, it gets 100 million downloads monthly. This has become a super popular app. It's a step up from Twitch. There are certain chat rooms that you can go in depending on your age. So that is why it is really important for if your child is using Discord and you find out about it, that they are using their real birth date. Discord has gotten in a lot of trouble in the last couple of years because a lot of child predators use this app for certain chat rooms, and they trade child pornography and talk about child pornography in some of these chat rooms. So this one is definitely should be on your radar if your young child is using it. And I'm almost done. So if you guys have questions. Vaulty app is again, there's a lot of these. So these are apps that our kids download in order to hide certain photos, files, text messages that they want to keep that they don't want you to see. This one is password protected. The thing with Vaulty and why I like to talk about it is because if you as a parent, you get on your child's phone and you're like, what is this app? And you try and get into it, you can't because it's password protected. But if you try and you get the wrong password, it takes a picture of you. And your child will see that you were trying to get into that app. The calculator is another one. A lot of parents, I feel like, are starting to understand now if there's two calculators on your kid's device, one is probably not a calculator. This is another app that can hide things, but it looks just like a calculator. So that is my presentation. I would love to take questions or any feedback on anything I've said. So Sarah, I don't know how you guys want to do that, but what time is it? We definitely have the time.
Yeah, we have 12 minutes left. Thank you so much. I was jotting down notes and had a lot of different things on all the different apps. One thing I have a question about is I didn't see anything about Roblox on there. Can you talk about
Yes, I
what's
need to
that?
add that. Oh, you know what? I'm glad you said that because Roblox, I have to admit, it didn't use it, when it first started out, I would say it was probably like the best thing that you could have your kid play. It now has over 800 games, mostly for adults. So I'm going to write that down right now. I'm glad you said that. I need to add that back into my presentation. Because I don't think a lot of parents realize that because Roblox did used to be like the thing where the go-to for young kids.
Mm-hmm.
But now they're really pushing for more adult-oriented games. So thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anyone else that has any other questions or comments, either in the chat or um, you're more than welcome to come off mute. I did want to tell you, Alisha, we had several folks say they would love to get the packet or social media resources or things to put in their newsletters. So I think I'll just send out that in a follow-up email. So
Yep,
when you
I'll
get
send
some
you the
time,
information for sure.
perfect. And then I also added the American Academy of Pediatrics has a pretty cool social media plan or family media plan that you can. I put a PDF in the chat, and then you can go to that and it links you to their family media plan. So that's pretty cool also.
It is. They have great information. I think I'm just weird about telling parents what like age, when it comes to ages and when they should receive at certain apps and devices. I just don't feel like I have the right to do that, I guess. And but I do like what that association has come up with. I think it's a great guide for sure. I just think, I kind of look at what I do in my home and I just know not all families are alike.
Very true. And I'm glad you said that. I think that it definitely depends on family and child, and different circumstances and stuff like that. So I think that you're right on with that. Someone did ask in the chat if you charge to present this information.
Nope, I don't. Nope. And I can do it virtually or come to you, but we do not charge.
Awesome. Alicia, do you want to throw your email in the chat?
Yeah, I will do that.
Oh, I see you have it up, obviously, right here
That's
too.
okay.
Then
I
thanks.
know that was like, I know too, I wanted to tell you guys that was a ton of information. So that's why here, my email and my cell phone, if you ever like just have a random question, especially like in the next couple days, if something kind of hits you or with your kid in the next couple years, email or text me. I mean, that's what I'm here for. And if I don't know the answer, I will find it for you. Like I said, even though this is my job, I'm learning new things every single day from my own children and their friends. It's crazy. It's so hard to keep up.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And there's so many different things. And I I obviously didn't grow up having a smartphone in my teen years. Thank the Lord for that. I'm so grateful for that. But
I know.
I would have never thought about those like vault apps and different things that hide what you don't want, folks to see or your parents to see specifically and stuff. So that was a big thing that I put on for mine. And my children are still younger, 8 and 5. So
Oh,
we're not doing cell phones anytime soon. But I know this information will probably change when they are at that,
it will.
but it's really good to just have it in the back of your mind and to know and to be able to share out with other kiddos who are utilizing different, apps and technology and stuff like that. I know we recently dealt with a situation where my niece came over and she brought her tablet and she had Snapchat on it. And all of a sudden I heard them talking to like I heard another voice, and it was her friend from school that who I do know. But I was like, oh no, like I didn't really know. First of all, my sister did not know she packed her tablet. Like there was all these factors coming into play, you know what I mean? And so but we definitely I definitely took that away, and then I had a conversation with my sister and I had a conversation with my daughter and my niece separately, about why I did that and made that choice and everything, and just knowing that, really like it sneaks up on you very quickly sometimes.
It does. And a lot of parents don't realize that there are parental controls out there. But and I think they know there is, but they're like, I don't know how to find them. I don't know how to do that. So Google, just make Google your best friend and it will show you like if you're with your sister, with the device, she could make it so she can't download anything without her permission.
Yes. Yep.
Um, so it seems difficult, but once you get it done, you'll be like, oh, that wasn't that bad. That wasn't too bad. That was easy.
Yeah.
Okay, I can do this.
Yeah, definitely manageable. So does anyone else have any other questions? Yes, I did. I just saw this come in. The recording of this may be made available afterwards. I absolutely will share the recording in the follow-up email. I don't see any problem in that either. Um, and yeah, and then if you need to reach out to Alicia or I anytime afterwards for more information, just go ahead and do that for sure. You're welcome, Shannon. I see you.
I
Hi.
know it. I feel like I freak people out and then ruin their day, and I don't like that.
Well, knowledge is power and awareness, is I think the biggest thing is just knowing that you do have options for parental controls, knowing that Meta is doing some stuff in terms of new, like the family center and stuff is really big, and I'm super happy to see that. I think that that's a really big um undertaking on their part, and I hope they continue to improve that and make it more.
Right. I think they're doing, to be honest, in my opinion, they're doing the bottom of the barrel that they can do. But uh, I mean, I don't, I just to leave you guys with this, a couple weeks ago, I don't know if you saw, but Meta, Snapchat, TikTok, there were a couple others had to testify in front of a Senate committee in DC a couple weeks ago. And it was pretty disgusting listening to these people. Mark Zuckerberg actually said, I about fell off my chair, said, it has been scientifically proven that social media does not harm any kids in any mental capacity. That this is not affecting their mental state whatsoever. And you should have heard the room. Like, I just can't believe he said that.
Wow.
So I think they are doing these minor changes for show, to be honest. They could be doing a lot better.
Yeah. Um, Katie has her hand up.
Thank you so much. I have a quick question.
Yeah.
So this information is okay. First of all, I work for Children's Trust Michigan. I'm a parent partner coordinator. And so we work with primary and secondary prevention partners in all 83 counties. And as of late, this has become a huge increase of my prevention partners wanting more information about things like this. So I was wondering if we could connect outside of this meeting a little bit. And then also can I share your contact information with those select prevention partners, or would we want to have a community? Okay. That's awesome. Because this got me really excited, because while they do some things of body safety and like darkness to light, they're really looking for that cyber internet safety and things to bring to parents. And as I was sitting through this talk, I was like, this is what they need. And I just want to share your information to everybody. But I wanted to ask for permission before I did that. And then let you know that I will be sending you an email so that we can connect. So it'll be from a michigan.gov email address.
Perfect. I would love to work with your organization. I worked with Pam Postumus for a lot of years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm in. Yep. Whatever I can do for you guys.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Awesome. I love the networking and being able to extend this to other folks. It is really helpful and great information. And I see other comments of, I would love to have you come to present at our family coalition and everything. So I'm super happy to see this. And please, if you lose Alicia's email or contact information, get a hold of me. I have it and can set you up with that, no problem. I'm going to stop the recording.